every time the circumstances challenged them, they hit back. Bio-bubble, injuries, racism, intimidation and criticism failed to penetrate the hearts of men who were set out to tell the world that you are defeated only when your heart and mind accept it, not before that. Remember, before this series, the last time India played a test was in New Zealand, a series in which they were humiliated 0-2, a series where the team managed to score more than 200 only once. And it was almost the same team that had won a test series in Australia in 2018-2019. So, there were doubts about this team even before it left for Australia. It wouldn't be right to say though that the doubts were unwarranted, as India was to start the series minus Ishant Sharma and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. In fact, in days, it also became clear that Captain Virat Kohli would also be absent from national duties to attend the birth of his kid after the first test. Former Australian players began murmuring about a 4-0 sweep for Australia, and even the Indian greats couldn't confidently deny their predictions. And then began the most anticipated series of the year in a day-night test at Adelaide with 2 days of intense cricket, where Team India showed that they wouldn't let the Aussies breathe easy. They have dismissed the Aussies for less than 200 to get a 50-plus lead. On the third morning of the test, when all of India waited for their team to take control of the test, one horror session sent India so far back in the contest that it seemed that it was over for them before it even began. Folding up for 36 wasn't how Captain Virat would have liked to see his team perform before his departure from the country. After the 8-wicket defeat, the critics came hard at the Indians. What came harder though was the spate of bad news. Premier bowler Shami was ruled out of the series after the first match, a big blow to the team that was already reeling from Ishant Sharma's absence. But that's where the story began. No, not the series, but the actual story. The series began in Adelaide, but the story began in Melbourne, where under Ajinkya Rahane, a man much trolled for his form and Kohli's run out in Adelaide, Team India stepped up spectacularly. Playing his first test in place of Shami, Mohammad Siraj showed that he belonged here. Not many were sure of the youngster's ascension to the test level, but the man bowled like he had an experience of 50 tests behind him. The Hyderabadi, who had to undergo a major loss in the form of his father's death before the series began, showed that no setback is too big if you have the heart to fight it out. When Team India came out to bat, they took a leaf out of Siraj's book and fought tooth and nail against the same attack that had skittled them for 36 in Adelaide. With a timely century, Captain Rahane stepped up along with debutant Shubman Gill and all-rounder Ravindra Jadeja to show that the Indian batting still packed a punch minus Virat Kohli. Ravichandran Ashwin and Jasprit Bumrah took the responsibility expected of senior bowlers and scripted a memorable series-levelling win at the MCG. A win without Kohli, a win without Ishant and Shami. The nation rejoiced at this great turnaround. The show of strength and character had taken everyone aback, even the naysayers who said India would capitulate minus their charismatic leader. But before the teams moved to Sydney, there were more setbacks for Team India, as even Umesh Yadav succumbed to injury. To make matters even worse, Steve Smith found his form back with a superlative ton. A poor first innings meant that Indian batsmen had their backs to the wall when they began their final innings in pursuit of a 407-run target. Once again, India showed the steel that had helped them come back into the series after a deflating loss. India batted 131 overs to save the test, which surprisingly at one point seemed theirs when Rishabh Pant was carting the Aussie bowlers for fun. Ashwin and Bihari faced injuries and intimidation and still didn't give their wickets away for more than 40 overs. If Melbourne was about being buoyant, Sydney was about being resilient, all in the face of adversity. The adversities, mind you, never left chasing the team. Before the final fixture at a venue nicknamed Gabba Tour, for the way opposition teams get butchered by Australia there, India was pretty much standing on one leg as injuries ruled out their bowling spearhead Jasprit Bumrah and all the three heroes of the Sydney Test, Jadeja, Ashwin and Revati. But willpower is a strong thing, and a bowling attack that had a collective experience of just 4 tests showed it to the cricketing world by dismissing Australia twice for scores of less than 350. New heroes stepped up when India found itself in a corner in the first innings as debutant Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur showed with a bat what fearlessness can do to men to take India to a score of 336. India retained the Border Gavaskar Trophy. In fact, they truly deserve this trophy. This might not be the greatest series ever, and there might not be any documentary made on it. But one thing is for sure, that there are fewer stories in the history of sports greater than the one that we have witnessed in the past 1 month. Thank you, Team India, for giving this generation a story to tell their grandkids. Pretty sure even they would find it hard to believe, as sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.